Hey guys, how are you? Another literature break for you this afternoon. Gorgeous Friday in Chicago. Hope you're having good weather. This, I walked around the apartment and looked on all the bookshelves and I thought, what should I read? What should I read? And I really can't believe I haven't read anything from this book because this is a huge classic and you may well have read it, but if you haven't, it's definitely a great one to check out. This is the Essays of E.B. White. So this is the guy who wrote Charlotte's Web and whatnot. So but his essays are amazing. Um, they're sectioned off like, all these different things. So, but I think we'll just go towards the end and do one from a section called Books, Men, and Writing. Because I've been talking to a lot of my guy friends about this kind of stuff. And I'm working with a male protagonist in this novel, so we'll do A Slight Sound at Evening. A Slight Sound at Evening, Allen Cove, Summer 1954. In his journal for July 10th through 12th, 1841, Thoreau wrote, "A slight sound at evening lifts me up by the ears and makes life seem inexpressibly serene and grand. It may be in Uranus or it may be in the Shutter." The book into which he later managed to pack both Uranus and the Shutter was published in 1854, and now 100 years have gone by. Walden, its serenity and grandeur unimpaired, still lifts us up by the ears, still translates for us that language we are in danger of forgetting, which all things and events speak without metaphor, which alone is copious and standard. Walden is an oddity in American letters. It may very well be the oddest of our distinguished oddities. For many it is a great deal too odd, and for many it is a particular bore. I have not found it to be a well-liked book among many acquaintances, although usually spoken of with respect, and one literary critic for whom I have the highest regard can find no reason for anyone's giving Walden a second thought. To admire the book is, in fact, something of an embarrassment, for the mass of men have an indistinct notion that its author was a sort of nature boy. I think it's of some advantage to encounter the book at a period in one's life when the normal anxieties and enthusiasms and rebellions of one's youth closely resemble those of Thoreau in that spring of 1845, when he borrowed an axe, went out into the woods, and began to whack down some trees for timber. Received at such a juncture, the book is like an invitation to life's dance, assuring the troubled recipient that no matter what befalls him in the way of success or failure, he will always be welcome at the party, that the music is played for him too, if he will but listen and move his feet. In effect, that is what the book is, an invitation unengraved, and it stirs one as a young girl is stirred by her first big party bid. Many think it a sermon, many set it down as an attempt to rearrange society, some think it an exercise in nature-loving, some find it a rather irritating collection of inspirational puffballs by an eccentric show-off. I think it none of these. It still seems to me that best youth's companion yet written by an American, for it carries a solemn warning against the loss of one's valuables. It advances a good argument for traveling light and trying new adventures. It rings with the power of positive adoration. It contains religious feeling without religious images, and it steadfastly refuses to record bad news. Even its pantheistic note is so pure as to be non-corrupting, pure as the flute note blown across the pond on those faraway summer nights. I think we'll stop there. So let's do another bit of a different one, just for fun. Less about another book. This is called The Geese, Allen Cove, July 9th, 1971. To give a clear account of what took place in the barnyard early in the morning on that last Sunday in June, I will have to go back more than a year in time, but a year is nothing to me these days. Besides, I intend to be quick about it and not dawdle. I have had a pair of elderly gray geese, a goose and a gander, living on this place for a number of years, and they have been my friends. Companions would be a better word. Geese are friends with no one. They badmouth everybody and everything. But they are companionable once you get used to their ingratitude and their false accusations. Early in the spring, a year ago, as soon as the ice went out of the pond, my goose started to lay. She laid 3 eggs in about a week's time and then died. I found her halfway down the lane that connects the backyard with the pasture. There were no marks on her. She lay with wings partly outspread and with her neck forward in the grass, pointing downhill. Geese are rarely sick, and I think this goose's time had come and she had simply died of old age. I had noticed that her step had slowed on her trips back from the pond to the barn where her nest was. I had never known her age, so I had nothing else to go on. We buried her in our private graveyard, and I felt sad at losing an acquaintance of such long-standing and loud shouting. Her legacy, of course, was the 3 eggs. So those are a couple snips from the essays of E.B. White, and I hope you guys will check that out. Otherwise, have a great weekend, and take care.